These green beans I've been growing inside since February are pretty much shot now, and I'm kind of thankful they are because they've been taking up so much space on my grow racks. But it really was a fun experiment growing these things through the winter time with my kid. Really good harvest out of these before they started going downhill. And like I said, just way too much going on in the grow rack to waste space on these beans. But before these beans go to bean heaven, I kind of want to explain how I grew these. There's really not much to it. I got some beans that I saved off my green beans from last year's crop, and I decided to let my 4-year-old plant 5 seeds into a 3-gallon pot. Despite the cooler temperatures, the beans all germinated. We just used regular potting soil, and I don't know if it matters or not, but I did give them a little bit of shredded cardboard as mulch. My beans survived neglect. Even though I gave them that cardboard mulch, I rarely watered my beans because I was not a fan of my beans. But since my kid planted them, I wanted to keep them going. So occasionally when I saw them drooping down, getting a little dry, I did give them a little bit of water. Because my basement is in the low to mid 60s, the beans took a little bit of time to grow. And I know the lack of water didn't help, but after about a month or so, I started noticing the flower buds. So I knew I was going to get some flowers and eventually some beans. As for light, I just grew my beans under these cheap shop lights like I do everything else. Pretty much everything will grow under these cheap shop lights. Make sure you check out my video on cheap shop lights. And under the lights is where my hatred for the beans really kicked in, because I had to keep raising my lights up to cater to the beans. I was worried that these lights were going to be too high for the plants that I actually care about and they'd get leggy. But in the end it worked out, and my other seedlings grew perfect even with the taller lights. When my beans started coming in, I gave them a little bit of extra water so they could set the fruits, and we had just as many beans inside as I would on plants outside. Now if I actually harvested my beans on time, I probably could have got even more beans out of them. Pretty good for growing under the cheap shop lights, where a lot of people are saying you can't grow stuff indoors underneath them. And that's basically it for growing green beans indoors. It's not something I do during the actual growing season, but I think in the winter time, when I don't have any seeds started, this would be something good to just fill my whole grow rack with beans and get a nice green bean harvest throughout the winter. It's really something anybody could do. It does not take a lot of time or effort. These beans have been sitting in my garage now, which is pretty much their hospice area, because they are done. I have no more flowers, no more bean setting. They've lived their life as a bean plant, and it's time to say goodbye. These beans will be composted, so we are not going to let their efforts go to waste. And we did get some tasty green beans out of them while they were alive. Go out and get some cheap shop lights, grab your kids, plant some bean seeds, and grow green beans any time of year, all year round, indoors. Thanks for watching.